We're trying to explore the Haggadah, the core text of Seder night. Perhaps best place to begin our exploration is something that takes place a few minutes into the Haggadah when we talk about the 4 children. 4 children who ask questions. And if you'd never really thought about it too much and somebody says, what prompts these questions? It looks like these are 4 children sitting around the Seder night asking questions about things they're observing on the night. But if you check the sources, you'll see that's not correct. These are the 4 times in Torah that children ask questions. There are 4 times when the Torah says, this is how you educate children. Or if your child asks this question, here's how you should respond. And in fact, only one of them is specific to Seder night, the one who doesn't ask questions at all. The wise child is asking about Judaism in general. Why do we keep Shabbat and kosher and give 10% of our money to charity and do all these other laws? The cynical child is there in the afternoon before Pesach as they took the Pesach lamb up to the Temple Mount and they were shechting, they were preparing it for the meal and they're going, oh my goodness, what is this stuff? And the only one who's connected directly to Seder night is the one who doesn't ask questions at all. So the first observation then is it appears what the Haggadah is actually doing is saying, bring your questions from all year round and bring them to Seder night. Because you see, what the Torah does is no matter what the question is, it always gives an answer linked to coming out of Egypt. And that tells if you're bothered by Shabbat, by kosher, by all sorts of other Jewish questions, to make sense of any of it, this is the night of answers. This is the night where it's all going to start, the bedrock point from which everything will grow. But the other interesting thing is the Haggadah seems to slightly distort the Torah's answers. In particular, there are 4 questions, but there's only 3 answers. If you've got a Haggadah open in front of you, you can pause right now and have a look for yourself and see if you can notice that 2 of the children get exactly the same answer. Now, whether you pause the video or not, let me tell you what goes on. The cynical child, we change the answer. The cynical child says, what is this work to you? The Torah says, you explain it's a Pesach offering, God saved us. We delete that answer. You can deduce from the style of question what is going on. The cynic doesn't have the word she'ela, a real quest for knowledge. It's just vayoma, they dump a statement at you. So you can pick up from the wording the different type of attitude that's being expressed in these questions. But each time the Torah says, if your child asks. And what the Torah seems to be telling us, and what the Haggadah seems to be telling us, is there aren't 4 different children. Each of us could be those children. But there's 4 different modes of searching or seeking. There's wisdom, the search for depth and meaning. There's cynicism, which is not really searching for anything. It's kind of just dumping an attack on you and putting a question mark at the end. There's simplicity, I just like more knowledge. And there's one who doesn't know how to ask questions. And if we think about it for a moment, we realize that we are all 4. Of course, there is no such thing as a child who is purely wise, a child who is purely cynical, a child who is purely simple, and there's certainly no such thing as a child who doesn't know how to ask questions. Every child knows how to ask questions, but rather each of us has an aspect of wisdom to us, an aspect of cynicism, an element of simplicity, we just want to know more, and then an element of us that is not seeking or searching anymore. We kind of know it all already. That could be a person who kind of doesn't have any questions. I know what Judaism is. I don't need to know anymore. I might just have given up on it, or I might be someone who's so scholarly I'm there to teach everybody else, but don't have what to learn myself. The Haggadah says bring them all together on Seder night, because no matter what our question is, no matter how we seek or search or don't, tonight is the night we have to bring all our questions to the table. Because this is going to be the night of answers, the bedrock foundation point upon which we can build everything. And no matter how we ask or who we are, that's what we need to discover on Seder night. And here I'm going to leave you with a little thought. There are 4 children, but the Haggadah only gives 3 answers. 2 of the children get exactly the same answer. In the next video, we're going to ask which of those 2 children and what is that telling us about ourselves.